Good day, everybody, and welcome to the Ammunation. I am your host. My name is Craig Bragg, and with me is my co-host, as always, the
Good day, everybody.
terrible twin, Mr. Irving Twin. How are you, sir?
Living the dream. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. How was your Christmas? You had a nice Christmas. You have your traditional Italian Christmas.
No. Just over at my sister's place.
No, you didn't do the fish and pasta on Christmas Eve.
Well, we did all kinds of food, but it's not like we did like it's not like the old days where, you're cramming 45 people into, your Nona's basement and stuff.
That's what I was at this Christmas Eve. I was at Anona's basement
It's nice,
in
isn't
their
it?
in their 70s decorated rec room
Plastic on the couches still.
with the bar. No, the couches didn't have plastic, but their bar was like very, very, very 1970s.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good, and we had the pasta with fish sauce, and it was good. I didn't have fish sauce because I don't like fish with my pasta, but I know, but I'm not Italian. I just had the marinara. The marinara is delish. We already got a comment. It's Mr. Pox Toxic chiming in saying hello, yo, Mr. Pox Toxic.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you. Anyway, I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. We're here now with another episode of Ammunation number 66. He's not your friend, guy. I hope you like the what do you call the slate, the thumbnail. You're the one who gave me that picture. Say, hey, maybe this will be the thumbnail pic. I'm like, yes, that will be the thumbnail. I fucking love it. South Park is a gift we don't deserve. I saw a clip today of Cartman talking to a bunch of guys on motorcycles, going, "You guys, you're fags, right? Everyone thinks you're fags. We don't care if we really piss people off. No. We're not. That's not it. We think you're fags. You guys are just a bunch of fags." Oh, I was laughing my ass off. Yeah, good old South Park. Gotta love it. So, if you're watching, say hey, like Mr. Pox Toxic did. But why don't we just get right into it, Mr. Twin, with our first topic of the night, as always.
Let's go.
Do you even lift, bro? How's your fitness
tag,
journey going this week?
Your tag says doesn't even lift.
I still have not been back to the gym. I know. The new year is when I'm going to go in earnest. I have been getting 10,000 steps daily though, because I was slacking off for a bit, hovering around 5 to 7. But I'm like, no, I'm going to do 10,000 from now on. I have been doing squats at home, but I haven't been going to the gym. I'm going back to the gym in January. Gonna put it all out there. Gonna try and get that superhero physique finally. I was getting close, but I couldn't get rid of the gut. And now with the holidays, I've just been indulging in garbage food, and my stomach is like, I am sick of myself when I look in the mirror.
The holidays, the food, it's to be expected. That's why getting to the gym as often as possible during these weeks, super valuable. Obviously, it's understandable that instead of going 4 or 5 times a week, if you went twice, but you kept getting out there, that's, something.
Yeah.
Like I cut down to, I was only 2 days this week, and I don't think I can get back till Monday. So,
yeah. I plan on going back. I plan on going back come Monday. But that's even before the New Year. So, hey, good on me.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'll go 5 days a week, but I'll go at least 3 days a week. And I got to ease back into it because I haven't been working. So I can't just go all full tilt, because I'll just hurt myself. I'm already feeling being less active. Man, do you feel it in your joints?
Oh, yeah.
I'm feeling like, oh my God, like I had a cramp in my leg the other night. It's in my calf the other night when I was in bed. So what happened is I was shifting around in bed. I was half asleep, half awake, and my knee hit my calf. So my one hit the calf, and it caused my calf to just cramp up like a mother. And like I massaged it out, right? Like I pushed the lactic acid out, I massaged it out, but it still hurts. It still hurts. So I'm like, what did I do? Like I don't know. Anyway, I got to get back at it. I got to get back into eating right, of course. And yeah, I've been, you know me, I'm one of these guys who goes on these fad things. I'm like, hey, maybe I'll try this. Hey, maybe I'll try that. I'm thinking of doing carnivore, but probably not. I was contemplating doing carnivore, but I'm like, But the thing is, well, if I do carnivore, it's not going to be like clean meat. It's going to be like fucking bologna and tuna fish. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I, I might not be eating, you know, fats or not fats, carbs, but I'm not eating the best meat. You know what I'm saying? So
Listen. People will ask when they find out somebody else works out or, they've got a good build. Oh, what's your routine?
yeah.
You don't do anything long enough to call it routine.
No, I do.
Right.
I do mesocycles, they call it.
I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't think anyone knows what that is. But if you want to have a routine,
it means something, I'm sure. Let's see.
Every morning, I wake up, make a coffee, put on the YouTube, and I practice my cursive handwriting. I've been doing that for like 4 years.
Why?
That's my routine.
You practice your cursive handwriting?
Yeah.
Wow. Why though? Like,
I like it.
Okay.
It's
Hey, man,
soothing. I don't write anything specific. Like it could be quotes from history, maybe a Bible verse, maybe some silly thing. Like you're going to find written on the same page in this order. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. All your base are belong to us. It's just like it clears my mind.
Schizo lifts. Yeah, that's my routine. I'm a schizo lifter. I try something different every 6 weeks.
But I've been doing it again for years, right?
Yeah.
Coffee, YouTube, cursive writing. That's my morning routine. If you only do it for a few weeks, it's not your routine. You've got to get into a proper routine and make it steady for an extended period of time. Like
problem is I get bored, and that, I mean that's a failing on my part. I know, but I get. I'll do like a particular what do you call it? Mesocycle designed lift schedule for 5-6 weeks with a 1 week that is a deload. And I'm like, okay, that was fun. I like that. I want to try something different now. Right? With my focus being I want to build my upper body primarily and I want to lose my weight in my gut. Those are my primary focuses. But yeah, in terms of discipline to sit down and have a morning routine that is like productive, that's not my morning routine. My morning routine is I get up, I feed the dogs, I let them out to do their business, and I sit down and I watch YouTube until it's time to go to work. Or I'll have breakfast. Sometimes I'll have breakfast. And if I have breakfast, it's eggs, typically eggs. Egg whites with whole eggs. And then I'll go to work. And I'll sit down at my desk, and every hour I get up and I walk around a bit. Do some squats, do some push-ups, that kind of stuff. That's my routine right now. I know I have to change, man. I know I have to get more regimented, as it were, but I've never been that way. It's not to say I couldn't do it. It's just I've never been that way, so it doesn't come naturally.
Yeah, no, that's it. But you takes 28 days to form a habit.
Is that how long it takes?
That's what they tell me.
Okay. Hey, buddy. The cat's here saying hello.
Hello, cat. And your thing about, I'll go to the gym 3 days a week. I always aim for 6.
You aim to go to the gym for 6 days a week?
That way, when I miss one, or I miss 2, I still went 4 times, right? So
how long? But how long do you spend at the gym when you go?
Depends. So
if you're going 6 days a week, You can't be putting in a 2-hour routine every day.
No.
It's going to kill you.
Usually about an hour.
Yeah.
But if I find a day where it's like, oh, I don't have anywhere to be immediately after the gym, I might put it like reschedule what I plan to do for a larger version of the same thing. So maybe an hour and a half, right? If it's like, oh, what I'm early, lots of time. Just add a little volume, you know? Throw in a new exercise that I don't normally do with part of my routine.
Come on up.
You know?
Come on up. Attaboy. Yeah, there you go. Say hello to everybody in the YouTubes. Hi, Mac. Let me go.
No, I don't want to be famous.
It's like, all right, I came up here for pets and you manhandled me. All right, well, let's move on because I'm depressing myself. He's not your friend, guy. Good old South Park. So, yeah, there's been more and more talk from Donald Trump on the social medias talking about annexing Canada. He doesn't say Canada. He just referring to Canada as the 51st state. He's referring to Justin Trudeau as Governor Justin Trudeau. And there's a lot of people on the X, the Canadian people on X, with very strong opinions about this whole ordeal.
One way or
They're
the
saying
other.
that if you're in support of this, you're a traitor. Like, well, and then what I find very funny is a lot of people who hate Justin Trudeau also hate Donald Trump. I'm like, what? And would have voted Kamala Harris. I'm like, you're schizophrenic. So you don't have any principles. You just have a distaste for Justin Trudeau.
And I find that traitor comment very strange because Justin Trudeau has called us a post-national state. And I don't think you can't really be a traitor to a government.
Well, yeah, but I
You're
think
a
what
traitor
they're saying
to a nation. And if we're post-national, then no. That's not the right word at all.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. We're not a post-national state, despite what what's his name says. Let's share this. I think the people who are upset by Justin Trudeau are upset by the attitude that we're a post-national state and still view Canada as a nation worth preserving. And so it irks them when Donald Trump makes jokes about this, because the more jokes he makes, the more serious he sounds, right? And I've been saying it a lot, and so is Canada Man, that it's not going to be an annexation of Canada. There's going to be an alliance. It'll probably be an alliance between Canada and the United States first, and then eventually Mexico will be brought on board once Mexico solves its fucking problems. But Kevin O'Leary, let me see. I'll pull this up. See if I can find it here. My mouse is all fucked up. Hold on.
6.
My mouse is acting like a cunt. Hold on.
The next 6 minutes is also in chat. How you doing?
I don't want to use my fucking mouse.
So
he's not your buddy, guy. What the hell is going on with my fucking mouse? It won't let me go up to my top of my bar.
Just pick it up and blow on it, man. What the hell? It's like a hair in there.
No, that's better. Let's watch this. Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking kill somebody.
Mouse isn't your friend, buddy.
Well, look what he said. He said, Governor Justin Trudeau of Canada, whose citizens are taxed too high, but if Canada was to become our 51st state, their taxes would be cut by more than 60%. Sounds pretty good.
Does sound pretty good. America's neighbors to the north are hopping on the MAGA train. I've heard they call themselves Maple MAGAs. Some Canadians jumping at President-elect Trump's offer.
Okay, that Maple MAGA sounds stupid. MCGA is fine. McGah, but Maple MAGA makes no sense.
Of huge tax cuts if they become the 51st state. We shall see. Kevin O'Leary, chairman of O'Leary Ventures, Mr. Wonderful, joins us now. Kevin, you are a man from the...
Okay, before he gets going, what are your thoughts on Kevin O'Leary?
Take him or leave him.
I'm in the same boat. He quickly gets under your skin, but he raises some good points here, and that's why I want to watch it. But sorry, go ahead.
He seems to try to model his personality after Donald Trump, but he's just not nearly as good at it.
No, I think he's got his own personality, but I do think he tries to be boisterous or what's the word? Braggadocious to a degree. I mean, the fact that he's been coined Mr. Wonderful, there's an egomaniac there. Okay, let's just watch what he has to say, though.
The north, this is your native land. What are you hearing? Is this for real? What are you hearing from people up there?
More than half of Canadians, there's 41 million of them, want to know more, want to understand what the proposal really is, because the concept of an economic union has been bandied around for 40 years.
Yeah, so that's quite the statement. More than half of people want to know more. Well, it's not more than half the people are in support of Canada becoming the 51st state. But to his point, it's about exploring the idea of an economic union. Anyway, keep going.
And it makes sense because the resources Canada have, the U.S. needs, particularly power and water. But there's something else. We've been talking about the border between Canada and the United States. That's not the problem. The Pentagon is worried and has been for decades about the northern border where China and the USSR are. And we had NORAD decades ago, but China was a nothing burger back then. Now they're a serious problem. And I think in this kernel of an idea, and yes, maybe it was a joke to start, there is something great here to be done, because if you figured out a way to put these two countries together, it would be the most powerful country on earth, the most powerful military on earth, the most powerful in resources. And no adversary anywhere would mess with it.
It's got a point, right? If the United States and Canada were to join forces in that sense, where basically economic resource exploitation, natural resource exploitation, and the land being utilized for military use and that kind of stuff, like installing more ICBMs, putting more bases, more training facilities for military in Canada because we have the land, right? Just overall expansion of both economies. It would be very tough for BRICS nations to do anything about it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, we just need to expel the Chinese military bases that are already installed in Canada.
You're absolutely right.
Get our oil to tide. Like all of this should have been it should have been naturally occurred by now, as to completely sovereign, independent nations with a strong alliance. That's all.
Right.
But no one has done anything here for 40
agreed.
years.
Yeah, the original the original economic union that was supposed to be the North American Free Trade Agreement was negotiated in bad faith. It was negotiated under the pork barrel politics mindset, where Bill Clinton and a bunch of people who he owed favors to got their piece of the pie with the North American Free Trade Agreement. Canada, didn't really advocate in its own best interests. But with regards to China, here's the thing. I believe that Canada has already been sold out to China. I believe that the destruction of this country has been facilitated by Justin Trudeau for the benefit of China. Because China is the WEF model, and Trudeau, admires their basic dictatorship, so to speak. I'm convinced that he's like, this whole what's happened in terms of like destroying the middle class, destroying the national identity of Canada, has all been by design to the benefit of China. So Trump's probably looking at Canada as being, okay, it's a compromised nation, and if China's got that much of a foothold in our neighbor to the north, we need to reverse it, like do a complete 180 on it. Otherwise, we become the next nation in decline.
That's the prize.
Yeah. Let's start with this idea that this is just the beginning of negotiations. People are talking about it. I want to just throw up a survey. They actually polled Canadians about this already. And this is what Canadians said about becoming the 51st state. 13% said yes, so there is a crowd there. 82% said no. But Kevin, what you're saying is maybe it doesn't have to be about taking the land. Maybe you can broker some kind of an economic union. That's what you want to help do, right?
Yeah, that poll is irrelevant. The opportunity is combining strengths. You don't have to sell the country. You don't have to even merge it, but you can create a union where you put together the things that matter: a common currency, a common passport, free-flowing trade across the border, particularly in energy. And think about what that means. Right now, the U.S. grid is tapped out. You can't find a gigawatt of electrical power. There's unlimited power in Canada. And even Eric Schmidt said that at Google because they're concerned about building data centers. All of these opportunities exist. Now, unfortunately for Trump, these ministers are going down to talk to him, Mar-a-Lago, are going to get wiped out in 90 days in a national election. Trudeau is immensely unpopular, and Canadians cannot wait to get rid of him. So this may have to wait from an official standpoint, but many Canadians are interested in understanding more about how we could push this idea forward.
Yeah, so Jolie and LeBlanc are going down there, I guess. And apparently, they've already gone down to Mar-a-Lago, but they haven't spoken directly to Trump. So they've talked to Homan and they talked to some other people, but Trump won't see them because why the fuck would he?
Yeah,
Right?
not a lot of point if they're going to be out by October.
And he's aware of the political climate in Canada.
And it's probably better that way because I heard someone say, if you're sending Melanie Jolie,
oh God,
you want negotiations to fail.
She's a goddamn basket case.
And I'm one of them. I think this is a great idea, and I think the potential is massive, and the opportunity is huge. And I think at the end of the day, Canadians and Americans, their DNA is the same in terms of what they believe in: freedom. They fought in multiple wars together. I say let's make this happen one way or another and end up the strongest entity on earth. I'm worried about China. I really am. I think we're in the beginning of a long economic war. And if we're stronger and protecting the northern border and really making it hell for them around the world with our philosophy of freedom and commerce and strength, that's a good thing.
Are you going down to Mar-a-Lago?
I'd love to go down to Mar-a-Lago. You know, I'm obviously interested in it because I do business on both sides of the border. And I'm going to the inauguration. I'm excited about it. I have a lot of projects in both countries. I work with senators and governors, and I walk the aisles of the Hill all the time, as I do in Ottawa. You can't do business anymore unless you're working with leadership in both countries. So I'm a big advocate of figuring out how to get this thing together.
Well, if you can get it together, Kevin, please give us the scoop. We want to break it with you right here.
Look, I'm a very rational guy. I could make this happen with nobody be unhappy about it.
I bet.
So there he is, blowing smoke up his own ass. But yeah, I'm inclined to agree that he sounds like a strong advocate for it. I have a feeling it's going to be something that it happens inevitably. Quite frankly, I think there's going to be a North American Union. I think that we will ultimately adopt a common currency. My only hope is that it's not a central bank digital currency.
Well, of course it would be, and the whole thing's a terrible idea. Like, it never works, especially for the weaker economic party.
But here's the thing, though. Like, I would say that it wouldn't work in a place like Europe, where you've got 21 member states, all of whom have similar similar histories in that they've all been close to it, but they're different peoples with different languages and different motivations. What O'Leary's saying there about Canada and the United States sharing the same DNA, they share a relatively common history. They and language and background, right? Same belief structure, same value system. So to me, it does seem like it would be a good thing to happen. How it happens though, who knows? If they could do it, if they can make it like I don't know what Trump is, how bullish he is on the idea of going to a gold standard or a resource backed currency as opposed to the fiat currency that is now being used. But I think it'd be smart for them to do that. I would love for the U.S. to adopt gold backs, man. That would make so much more sense. But
Well, hey, I figure he might be actually interested because they tried to kill him. So
that's true. They always kill the people who try and go against the central banks.
yeah.
And he hasn't really been that vocal about going against the central banks.
No.
But whereas, what's his face? JFK was. But anyway, yeah. But I'm just I don't know. I think it's bound to happen. How it unfolds is the question, right? If the Republicans can get decent, more common sense people in power again and again, like keep getting them reelected, and by all accounts, it looks like the Democrats are going to be out in the woods for a good while now because they haven't seemed to learn a damn thing. They're still talking about we need a stronger social media presence. We need to double down on all this identity politics stuff. We need this is their philosophy now. It's not about government helping people. It's about government helping specific color people, specific shades of people, specific genders of people. So
all while saying that race and gender are social constructs.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, so the Democrats haven't learned a damn thing, and I don't know if they will by 2028. They're talking about floating AOC Harris ticket. Like, heck, do it. Go ahead and lose again, because I'd love to see a President JD Vance. I mean, I don't know much about him just yet. He hasn't done much because he's not even vice president yet. But President JD Vance would be fine. A President President Tulsi Gabbard would be fine by me as well. But yeah.
Well, we'll have to see what happens during this upcoming administration because things already seem a little weird.
Why? How so?
Oh, well, there's this whole thing about, you know what? We need millions of Indians.
Oh, you talking about Elon Manjal? Good old Elon Manjal.
Millions. Look, here in Canada, we have 5 million Indians on temporary work visas. It's not working out.
No.
It's not working out.
No. Pilgrim posted an X post. Here's what you will look like if you were Indian. What does he say here? Hold on, I'm trying to read what. Maybe this is a helpful clarification. I am referring to bringing in via legal immigration the top 0.1% of engineering talent as being essential for America to keep winning. Here's the thing. I'll give Musk this credit. He knows a little bit about that, not necessarily the policy, but he knows a little bit about where the best engineers are coming from. So I don't know. Pox has opinions on this. We need more poop on the sidewalks in the West, Sar. Send them all to San Antonio. I like her. You know what? Canada has taken a very vocal objection to the idea of more brown people. We already have a very sizable Indian and Pakistani population here in Canada. Most of them are in Brampton, and yeah, the cultural friction is visible, and it is not good for the society as a whole. So don't eat the dookie slurry, Six. So if we're talking about bringing in people who are, like you said, the top 0.1% of talent because they have, advanced degrees in engineering and can solve problems that, the United States has in terms of its vacuum, I guess, in that respect, then fine. Okay. But when you're talking about bringing in Indians to take on, every retail job, every, food service job, like has happened here in Ontario, frankly, there's a reason why they call it Sing Hortons, because every Tim Hortons now is staffed almost exclusively by Indian people. Because the people who franchise them, the most I would hazard to guess, and this is just an estimate, that most of the new franchisees over the last 10 years have been people, wealthy Indian people who have, come from India with lots of money and decided they're going to open up a chain of Tim Hortons restaurants. And then they hire people that, they can speak to in the language that they understand. Also, Irving, you have ideas about why they hire Indians?
Oh, it's not ideas about it. Like, okay, so first let's just look at the strict technicals. Get people on a temporary work visa, temporary foreign worker visa,
right?
And you only have to pay them half their wage. The taxpayer pays the other half,
right?
And things that are happening in, say, a Tim Hortons job is the employer now will say, well, look, your visa is coming to an end. If I don't write you a letter that says, oh yeah, I need you to stay, your visa will end and you'll have to go back. So if you want that letter, you've got to pay me $10,000.
Yeah.
And this is apparently running rampant in some of these franchises. This is just amazing. I love this picture so much.
Man, AI is getting amazing. It's really astounding.
But also, I wouldn't be surprised to discover that some of these wealthy Indian Tim Hortons owners also own houses that they're converting into effectively barracks and then getting the rent out of the people they paid to work in their Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
Because they're putting like 6 people to a bedroom and renting each bed for basically $450 a month.
Insane.
Yeah. Right. And it's done so openly and illegally that it is just wild. That, like, if you go looking for rental houses or rental rooms, rental apartments, you're going to find ads openly stating Indian only, and even more specifically from this province in India only. Like the blatant discrimination, and nobody does anything about it.
No, because if you say anything about it, you're a rackist. Can't have any rackism. So
diet indentured servitude, yeah, straight goods, and we subsidize it.
You lose blue check. You lose blue check. You talk about it, you lose blue check. Is that actually happening? Apparently, Elon's been removing people's verification badges because they're shitting all over them.
I've been hearing this, but I thought a verification badge came with $8.
That's so too. Are you getting a refund when he takes away your verification badge? I have no idea. Diet indentured servitude. No, it's true. Well, and you know what? You mentioned something before we went live, that the reason that these Indian businesses hire Indians is because they can treat them like Indians. India still has a very strong, like you said, caste system. And so if you hire someone from a lower caste, you can shit on them and they're not going to complain to the Human Rights Tribunal because they're of a lower caste.
Yeah, that they're more likely to just take it, where, say, a native-born Canadian would not.
Right. Right.
And therein lies another problem. If you find yourself with an Indian employee in your HR and you're trying to hire, suddenly all the resumes that come across your desk from the hiring team are Indian people. They just dismiss people that don't have Indian names.
Well, did you hear? Yeah, you heard about the girl who asked her manager, "Are we only hiring Indian people now?" Because I guess she put forward a friend, and she put it out on social media. And of course, she got
Yeah,
fired.
she got fired. Yeah.
But I guess she put forward a resume of a friend, like a white friend, and they didn't get hired. And she's like, "Are you only hiring Indian people now?" And the guys got fired for it. But I mean,
Again, why would you hire a native-born person I mean, what, on January 2nd, is it going to be $17.55 an hour in Ontario?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
minimum wage. When you could pay them $9 and let the taxpayer cover the
the
rest.
thing I don't understand is, why are we giving temporary foreign workers visas to people? Why are we doing it?
It's called the Great Replacement.
No, it's temporary, right? The notion being that there is a specific industry need, so they hand out visas to fill that need because there aren't enough of the skilled labor to fill that particular industry.
I don't think there's.
So if there was a shortage of bricklayers, right,
Right.
and there was a pile of fucking bricklayers in Estonia who were out of work, and they could come here and work for a year or 2 years to do these infrastructure projects where we need bricklayers, fine, okay. But why are we bringing temporary foreign workers here to work in a Tim Hortons?
Okay,
There's no shortage of unskilled retail.
that's right.
There's never going to be a shortage of unskilled retail.
But there's an abundance of government officials who hate you, right? And
Right.
what they want is cheap labor, right? People who will come over, get paid dirt, eat crap, and then tell all the Canadian people, well, it's your own fault that you don't have a job. Because look at this idiot. He'll work 60 hours a week to live in a bed with 5 other guys in the bedroom, right? All to pay it back to the guy who's employing him, and then pay that employee, right? You're just lazy.
Yeah. Well, and this is the argument that's being used south of the border when they're saying, oh, they're going to mass deport all these people. They're going to go to places of business like chicken processing plants and, fucking industrial laundry services. And they're just going to deport people who have been hired there who shouldn't be working there because they don't have the legal right to work in the United States. And people are up in arms. That's going to shut down the industry. That's going to destroy so many businesses. They're breaking the law. And if there aren't foreign workers, if there aren't illegal immigrants doing these jobs, then they're naturally going to go to native-born workers. Well, they won't work for that much money. So what you're saying is you're underpaying the people who you've hired illegally. So not only have you hired them illegally, but you're giving them slave wages. Okay, we'll put you down for that one too. No, I think Homan is smart by saying, fucking clean your room before we get into power, because once we do, it's going to be a real fucking mess for you folks. And why he's telling people to self-deport. Look, get out now, because we have to find you and send you back. It's not going to be pleasant. If you go now, and we don't know you're here in the country, and we haven't found you or whatever. If you go now, then no harm, no foul. But if we have to come and find you and fucking deport you, then you're never getting back in here. So
the good news for Canada, though, is apparently since Justin Trudeau's announcement that they won't be renewing so many of these temporary foreign worker visas, of which there are 4.9 million right now.
That's insane.
13% of people in Canada living in Canada aren't permanent residents or caffeine-free indentured servitude. Thousands of them have already been caught trying to cross the border into the United States. So they are self-deporting, just the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So I have this. I don't know if I've told you this. I had this conversation with a guy from India. You know, he's here working here, right? Talks about
Yeah.
how is it an oddity? I don't know. Talks about how, oh yeah, India is so developed now. I'm like, no, it's not. Yeah, it is. Oh, Dubai is enormous. It's so wealthy. No, it's not. No, it's more developed than Toronto. No, it's not. Why do you keep saying that? Because you moved here. I didn't move there. No one's moving there. You moved away. You left Dubai. Tell me again how great it is in Dubai.
It's great for the upper class. It's great for people who have fucking toilets in their apartments and in their condos.
Sorry, not Dubai. Mumbai.
Mumbai. You know, people who live in Mumbai, who live, you know, above the filth, they're having a great time. They have no interest in moving here unless they can amass enough wealth to buy a Tim Hortons franchise and employ a bunch of lower class people. Otherwise, they're happy making their millions there in Mumbai. But yeah, no.
Well, no, and then you hear horror stories. Again, I've never been to India, but I do hear it from quite a few Indian people who have come here. How weird it is that, like, we talk about our corrupt officials, and they're like, you have no idea what corruption is.
Yeah,
you'll see like a prosecutor during a trial negotiating bribes with the judge and the defense lawyer to come to an agreement on how to work the outcome of this case, and they just do it openly.
Oh fuck! That reminds me of you ever watch Justice League? Justice League animated series.
No,
Actually, I think it was Young Justice. Justice League Unlimited. It was one of those DC animated. Anyway, so what happened was,
I know this game, Fox. I know this game.
The Justice League got like brainwashed, or whatever, and were sent off and left Earth and went and committed a whole bunch of crimes, destroyed like a planet. So they're on trial in this big like public like stadium, and the judge, after they present their case, the judge is like, "Is there anything more you want to give us? Have you got something more you want to give us?" And he keeps putting his hand out like this. What they wanted was a fucking bribe.
Yeah.
Anyway, do Street View test. Open Google Maps, zoom into a random spot in India, and see how far you have to go to find poop on the street. Do it live, damn it. All right, we'll do it.
No.
Why not?
No.
Don't. Will we get a zing?
I don't know.
Will we get ding for it? You don't want to do it though.
Nah, we got stuff to talk about.
We do. There is other stuff I want to talk about. Something a little bit more, I don't know, depressing, heartbreaking, disgusting.
All of the above.
All of the above. You heard about this couple?
So yeah, this happened
A few years ago.
Yeah.
In Georgia, but apparently they've just been sentenced to 100 years, which is not long enough in my opinion. But 100 years in prison, eternity in hell. Yeah, we've often found it funny here in Canada when we hear that so and so was sentenced to 170 years in prison, because they put the sentences back to back, not concurrently, right? 100 years in prison for these two gay dads. So they basically adopted a couple of kids, and I'll read the story if you're interested at all.
Well, basically they raped them and pimped them out to their gay friends, right?
That's right. Yeah. Well, gay friends or pedo friends, either way, perverted friends. Sexually abusing two brothers, now 10 and 12, in their Georgia home. A gay U.S. couple will spend the rest of their lives behind bars after being sentenced for raping their two adopted sons. Husbands William, 34, and Zachary Zuluk, 36, pleaded guilty to a host of charges involving the biological brothers, now aged 10 and 12, and were issued a 100-year sentence with no eligibility for parole until that time is expired. So they're not going to get out. Oh, you and I were talking. I said that they'll probably get out in 20 years, but they're not even eligible parole for over 100 years.
Good. And I pointed out it's because they're not in Canada.
Yeah, in Canada, Canada, the maximum sentence you can serve in Canada for any crime is 25 years. and you're normally eligible for parole after serving a third of that. Some high profile cases like Bernardo, they held back on the eligibility for parole much later, and he's one of these people who, even if he's eligible for parole, he'll never be paroled. They'll keep him in prison indefinitely. These two defendants truly created a house of horrors and put their extremely dark desires above everything and everyone else, Walton County, Georgia District Attorney Randy McGinley said in a statement that offered details of the shocking case that began in 2022. Boys were sexually abused since 2019. After receiving a cyber tip from the U.S. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children about suspected homemade child sexual abuse material, CSAM, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation notified local sheriff's officers. Police said police used the IP addresses, from the Google account upload to locate the. Why would you use Google to locate the physical address where the occupant Hunter Lawless admitted he downloaded child pornography photos and video and identified the sender as Zachary Zulak? As reported by WSB-TV Atlanta, Lawless told deputies that Zulak was making the material with at least one child who lived in his home. With a new search warrant, police visited the Zulak residence and detained both men for questioning, during which they both admitted to sexually abusing both boys over a period of time. The kids aged 8 and 10 at the time. Why do they do that? Where they spell out the first number, but then they make it a numeral for the second number?
That's just an editing oversight, I think.
Oh, had been adopted through a Christian special needs agency, per the New York Post. Police recovered 7 terabytes of surveillance video from inside the home, finding multiple incidents of the men abusing the kids in various parts of the house. Cell phones contained more videos, along with images and graphic text and social media posts about the crimes. Court records obtained by Town Hall indicated the attacks began in late 2019 and intensified in January 2021 and beyond. Cell phone information also led police to Luis Vizcarro Sanchez, 25, to whom Zachary had sent messages about the abuse. He later pleaded guilty to pandering for a person under 18 and multiple unrelated counts of computer theft, and was sentenced to 60 years with only 15 in prison and the rest on probation. Why? If he testified against the Zulaks. Okay, so he got a deal. Per the court documents, 27-year-old Lawless told investigators that Zachary, whom he met through an acquaintance on the gay dating app Grindr, had sent him numerous messages about the assaults. Lawless denied having been in physical contact with either of the boys, but said Zachary invited him to join in the activities on more than one occasion. In court, he pleaded guilty to sexual exploitation of children and was handed a 20-year sentence, with only the first 12 spent incarcerated on the promise of testifying against the Zulaks. Such action will never be taken lightly. McGinley said the married men's punishment all but guarantees that the victims will not have to worry about, as they grow older, about their abusers being free. The sentence imposed not only appropriately punishes these defendants for their repeated selfish actions, but also sends a message to the public that such actions will never be taken lightly, he wrote. Look at that's in German. Yeah, so those are the two pieces of shit there. Have you seen the meme? Little cartoon goose saying, "Why is it always boys that you guys adopt?" And then it's chasing the person running away. Why is it always boys that you guys adopt?
I usually see it attached to, why don't you read to the elderly or the sick? Why is it only little kids and it's chasing a drag queen?
A drag queen, yeah. So couldn't happen to two shittier people, in my opinion. Fuck those two guys. It's utterly disgusting. You're going to find someone bare ass pooping in a gutter. Wood chippers and sharks are less expensive. It's true.
True. Yeah, like it's hard.
Wood chipper next to the tank and have it spray into the tank.
It's hard sometimes to be against the death penalty. Like,
it really is.
In principle, I'm certain it's wrong. I have not been convinced by some of the people I respect that are on the other side of that position. I'm listening, but You still haven't convinced me. And it's like, it's stuff like this that it's like, I'm convinced. I don't want to be convinced. I shouldn't be convinced.
I gotta I can't understand. I can't understand the level of depravity that what is so wrong with your moral intuition that you could even entertain those kinds of thoughts. And the fact that you can collude with somebody to do it, like that means that you had to broach this subject with somebody and they had to be on board with it. You know what I mean? And you married that guy. Was the plan all along to marry a fellow pedophile?
I guess it.
Or do they view it as no, that we're just preparing our gay sons because they're going to be gay because we're gay and we're raising them gay. Preparing our gay sons for the kind of sex that they're going to have as they get older.
And it's gonna be brutal. Sorry.
Get used to the pain, son. Get used to the pain because this is going to be your life. It's going to be so bad that when you're 80, you're going to have to shove tampons up your ass. Otherwise, you'll shit all over yourself. Anyway. Sorry.
Extra large.
Extra large tampons. That's right. No, it's utterly disgusting, and it raises the argument for the longest time. People say how you can't discriminate against. Originally, when the idea of adopting another person's child was became sort of common, right? It was a young teenage mother who accidentally got pregnant, didn't intend to get pregnant, shouldn't say accidentally, but didn't intend to get pregnant, couldn't raise the kid, so carried it to term, and then it was adopted by a loving couple, heterosexual couple who had the means. And they used to vet the shit out of these people and make sure that they didn't have any history of drug abuse, they didn't have any criminal history, they didn't have nothing possibly bad could go wrong with them adopting a child. And then when people broach the subject, well, gay people can get married now, should gay people be allowed to have to adopt children? Well, many people were like, well, no, they shouldn't, and people called them bigots for saying that. But I mean, the idea of becoming a parent is not something that you do for your own ego so much as it is you do it to further society. So should we not be a little bit discriminatory on what kind of lifestyles and what kind of families we want to further society, to build it? You know what I'm saying? I was adopted, and boy, am I glad I wasn't adopted by a pair of deranged pedos who passed me off to their deranged pedo friends. I didn't know you were adopted, Six. That's interesting. I assume you were adopted by a heterosexual couple. But you know what I mean? Like the idea of the state getting it, like that's why there's laws about adoption. But have those laws just gone by the wayside that they'll let anybody adopt anybody?
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, vetting a gay couple would be seen as like homophobic.
Discriminatory.
What do you mean you have to vet us? Is it because we're gay?
No, we vet everybody. We vet heterosexual couples, we vet gay couples.
But that stopped being useful for quite some time there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, actually, we just want the best candidate. Oh, no, it's because I'm black. Oh, it's because I'm whatever that you didn't hire me. It's because I'm trans. It's because I'm gay. Like,
well, yeah, we didn't hire you because you're
best
trans.
fucking candidate.
We don't hire crazy people. No, the idea though that I think we should have a little bit more discriminatory practices when it comes to adopting children, I think needs to be revisited. I think maybe, as much as I hate to empower the state, maybe the state needs to get involved and have very strict guidelines on who it is that can adopt. Like adopted agencies, my understanding is they're for-profit agencies or they're non-profit agencies, are they not? I'm assuming they're for-profit.
No idea.
I don't know either. But yeah, it just the whole thing is disgusting, and it makes me think, yeah, we need to vet more thoroughly. How about that? Or just outlaw gay people adopting kids. I'd say if you're gay and you want to have a kid, you got to take one for the team. You know what I mean? If you're lesbians, one of you's got to get knocked up. And if you're a gay men, two gay men, hope some lady makes you their godchildren for their kid, godparent for their children. I don't know. I guess you could try surrogacy. I have no idea. Anyway, let's move on to something a little bit more ridiculous.
Yeah, because that wasn't ridiculous enough. Jeez.
That was disturbing. This one's a little bit more lighthearted. Now, fair warning, this is older. This is from about 5 months ago. 4 or 5 months ago. This is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
You say you care about the students, but half of you are not sure.
One moment.
You say you care about the students, but half of you are not sure what gender is, especially transgender. No, the lawyer said transsexual earlier. That's not the correct term.
Look at this fucking guy. Look at him. He's a goddamn cartoon character.
It's transgender. I'm a transgender woman. My pronouns are
No, you're not. You're a fat guy with a stupid haircut.
Is that even the word for that? A haircut?
Yeah, that might even be just. I think it's a haircut. You think it might just be glued on hair?
I have no idea. I mean, you're
Looks
not a
like
My
my-
Little Pony. You're just gross.
she, her, and I will only accept those pronouns.
Well, here's the thing. People don't refer to you by your pronouns. Pronouns are only. People don't talk to you using pronouns. They should be using your name or you. This notion that pronouns are somehow something you own has always bothered me. You don't have your pronouns. Your pronouns are me, myself, and I. How people refer to you is up to them. That's why I called you a fat, ugly guy with a stupid haircut. That's why I say to you, nice tits, faggot. Look, he's got a cane because he's so morbidly obese that he can't even walk on his own. He's probably, or he just wants to collect those victim bucks, so he's also disabled.
Well, these are the people that want the money out of your wallet, right? The food out of your mouth, like, you know what I mean? The food off your plate and the words out of your mouth. They think it all belongs to them.
Yeah.
Right? Everything is social, collectively owned, even the words that you say.
Narcissism.
Not be addressed any other way.
You're not being addressed by your fucking pronouns. You're being addressed by your name or you or fatso or bitch. Once again, I think the only appropriate thing to say to somebody who's engaged in this kind of monologuing, this kind of filibustering is nice tits, faggot.
And in the workspace, I'm protected by that.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the rebuttal. This guy's fucking hilarious.
Fire, whatever kind of delusion people live in, whatever kind of mental disease that they have. Boys are boys and girls are girls. It's simple and basic. It's always been that way. And that's why we have separate bathrooms. I'm not going to allow my girls or my boys to shower with the opposite sex because I don't want them fondled or tainted by one of these deranged people sexually. And that's what lingers in these groups of homosexuality and transgenderism is sexually explicit ideology. My daughter goes to Franklin. She brought home books about how it's okay that two parents are gay in a household, and it's okay for boys to be girls and girls to be boys. What kind of delusion are you guys living in? Are people really retarded? We're still having these talks? Like, what is going on here? Like,
People get upset when he says retarded. He can't make this shit up. He's going against the orthodoxy with regards to the trans, and everybody's being quiet because they know he's absolutely right. Right? The only person who's freaking out is probably the fat purple-haired freak. But they get all upset when you say retard. Fuck off.
like,
We don't use that word.
no, it's a word. I can use that if I want. Yes, I can. And I can't believe people are so open-minded. Their brains have literally fell out. There's nobody.
I love that phrase. So open-minded, your brains have fallen out.
I'm remembering back. This was a long time ago. I used retarded all the time.
Yeah, so did I.
I knew this one idiot. I was like, "That's retarded. You're a retard." And he's after a while, I can see he's getting antsy. I didn't even understand why. And he's like, "Stop it! Stop!" I'm like, "Stop what? Stop saying that word. What word? Retarded. What? Why? My brother's retarded." And I look at him. I'm like, "No, man. Lorenzo has Down syndrome. You're fucking retarded."
Lorenzo. Is that his brother's name, Lorenzo?
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother used to work with mentally handicapped people at a camp. This is one of the summer jobs he got when he was younger. And he used for a while, he got very upset when people used the term retard because, he'd grown quite fond of these children and blah, 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 blah. And every once in a while I'll let it slip and I'll say that's retarded. I really don't appreciate that word. I'm like, why? Because I know some mentally challenged people and it's offensive. I'm like, are there any here right now? Why are you offended on their behalf? You got to know I would never walk up to a mentally handicapped kid and say, "Hey, retard, what time is it?" I would never do. But in speaking in a familiar setting with people I'm comfortable with, I'm free to speak the way I wish. And if you don't like it, then obviously, we're not that close, I guess. Anyway.
And honestly, I tend to use it in the technical sense. Right.
I didn't make it on time because the train was retarded.
Sure. Or like when someone has a very terrible idea or belief, that is obviously it has come to be through some slowing or obstruction of logical thought, right? Which is to say retarded.
Retarded just simply means slowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fire retardant.
Yeah. It minimizes or it's debilitated in some way. So when you say somebody's mentally retarded, it means that they've been mentally slowed. Their development of their mental faculties has been slowed. That's all. And okay, retard's not a very, they might not like the term retard. And now they want you to use developmentally challenged. But all that does is set up, in future, we're going to use the term challenged as a pejorative. What are you, fucking challenged? You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to share that because I thought that guy was hilarious and that purple-haired freak was funny. What else have we got? I already watched that. I forgot to do the true news banner for that.
Oh, that's okay.
That's all right. I'm fucking.
That's the worst thing I ever heard in my life. That's so disgusting. Oh my God, that's the worst thing I ever heard in my life.
Time for Jews news. This is only tangentially Jewish in relation. So Trump's been doing press conferences of late. Have you heard this one? Somebody asked him a really kind of a pointed question about the conflict in Israel/Gaza.
No, I don't think I've heard it.
Okay, here we go.
Entertaining the idea of preemptive strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities. Against Iran's nuclear
Well, I
facilities.
couldn't tell you that. I mean, it's a wonderful question, but am I going to do preemptive strikes? Why would I say that? Can you imagine? Would I say yes or no? You'd say, that was strange that he answered that way. Am I going to do preemptive strikes on Iran? Is that a serious question? How could I answer a question like that? Say it.
In support of Israeli strikes on Iran's.
How could I tell you a thing like that now? It's just so you don't talk about that before something may or may not happen. I don't want to insult you. I just think it's just not something that I would ever answer having to do with there or any other place in the world.
I mean, he makes a good point. Like you're asking this pointed question. You think I'm an idiot? Any answer I give you is going to be taken and turned into fodder against me. So why the fuck would I answer that question? And also, close that. So yeah, it's kind of funny. Sorry, I've got a whole bunch of tabs open and I'm causing problems for myself.
Of course you do. Boomering the tech.
That's right.
Please stand by.
No, it's just it is kind of dumb to think that you could answer such a question. What do you think? Do you think Israel's gonna do a preemptive strike on Iran's nuclear facilities?
Israel's doing preemptive strikes on whoever the fuck they feel like, apparently.
It's true. Syria's ours now.
Yeah, apparently there's arguments that Syria has always been part of Israel.
That's right.
Greater Israel. They have it. They have the emblem sewn onto their uniforms.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild.
It
do you remember? Since we're approaching the new year, do you remember last year, early this year, right after New Year's, those fucking tunnels?
Yes. Yes.
Hasidic Jews coming up out of New York City
Yes.
sewer grates.
Yes. Oy vey. Yeah, they had literal, debauchery sex tunnels underneath like a Jewish spa.
The best meme that came out of that is Ben Shapiro, right? Just those are Judeo-Christian tunnels.
Oh fuck. Speaking of Jews news, Brett Cooper no longer part of the Daily Wire. You heard about that? You know Brett Cooper, right?
I don't actually.
You don't know who Brett Cooper is?
No.
She had a show on the Daily Wire and on YouTube. It was part of the Daily Wire's suite of talent called The Comment Section with Brett Cooper. So she's a young, like millennial. I don't think she's Gen Z. I think she's millennial.
Okay, you've mentioned this.
Yeah, and she basically has like a show where she talks about news items and what people are saying in the comment section, and she presents it in a fun, sort of youthful way. Well, I guess something went on at the Daily Wire, and she's now since left. We don't know why. We don't know what she's done. We don't know if it was a Candace Owens situation where, she was critical of Israel, or she stood in defense of Candace Owens, and they said, no, none of that now, and basically asked her to leave. So anyway, basically, she was like one of the top talents on the YouTube channels associated with the Daily Wire. Like she was bringing in more views than like Shapiro. She was bringing in more views than Clavin and what's his name, Matt Walsh, and The other ones. Was it Matt Walsh or who's the other guy? Knowles.
Whatever.
Michael Knowles. That's his name.
Oh yeah, okay.
So she's got a bigger channel than those guys. And so, and occasionally in the last little bit, she had been taking like Fridays off, and her producer Regan, whatever, would do the show. Well, now they basically replaced her with this Regan chick, and now it's the comment section with Regan Donovan or whatever the fuck her name is. And it's uncanny that she does all the same mannerisms that Brett Cooper did, and she does the show, like she performs in the show the exact same way as Brett Cooper did. And rumors have it that she went and did acting lessons just so that she could mimic Brett Cooper's style. Like this was in plans for a while. Apparently, she was her maid of honor at her wedding, and now she's been blocked on social media by Brett Cooper. So, yeah. Anyway,
okay, that part's weird because my first thought was, look, I mean, not everything's a conspiracy theory. It may have been that Brett wanted to move on, right? like, yeah, and hey,
well, people are
you're great at this. You're taking lessons. You can take over the show. People expect it a certain way. If you want to do it that way, that's fine, I guess, right? And then you keep the show like the energy as similar as possible so it doesn't lose viewers, and I'll move on, and now you have this. But if she's now blocked her former maid of honor on all social media, well, then yeah, maybe there is something else going on.
My guess is that she probably went and said, look, I bring in a lot of this money here. I have more views than Michael Knowles. I have more views than Andrew Clavin or whatever. I want more money. I want to renegotiate our contract. I want more money. And they probably said no. We invested X amount of dollars in building this channel for you, and building your studio, and building you as a talent on this platform. And we haven't recouped our losses yet. So we haven't recouped our investment yet. So no, we're not paying your more money until we're turning a profit on you. And she said, fine, then I'll leave. And they said, okay, fine. So the comment section with Brett Cooper will no longer be the comment section with Brett Cooper. It'll be with Regan, whatever her name is. Well, this is my show. No, it's not really your show. It's our show. It's produced by
their IP. Yeah,
it's our IP. We don't own you. We just own the comment section show. So anyway, so nobody knows what she's going to be doing. She's newly married. I don't think she's a mom yet, but I think she wants to be a mom. Anyway, she's newly married. I think probably the plan is she's probably going to join Tim Pool's outlet. If I had to guess, she might join Tim Pool. And now there's speculation that Tim Pool made an announcement that he's going to on New Year's Eve. There's going to be a big announcement about Timcast and the company and all that. And people are speculating that he sold it to the Daily Wire because he's been quite apologetic towards the Daily Wire. Did you hear about the Ortho Jews that got raided for child sex trafficking in Guatemala? I would not be surprised. There is a serious problem with child sex abuse in the Orthodox Jewish community. Serious problem. Tim Pool is getting bought out by Wire. That's the rumor. That's the rumor that he's getting bought out by the Daily Wire.
I mean,
he has been collaborating with them an awful lot. He is very generous when speaking about them. So,
sure, but I mean, that just strikes me as weird. Like, I know Tim Pool's been getting a little lately.
What's that?
I don't even know what it is. Like, there's something.
He's been getting antsy. He's been talking about how he's had a couple rants about how he's kind of sick of what he's doing. So,
but also, like, he literally, like, he's the YouTube success story. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, he wasn't somebody famous like Joe Rogan, at least pseudo famous, who started a podcast. He was like a guerrilla journalist who'd been working in shitty journalism jobs for shitty outlets and started his YouTube channel from effectively a homeless place. and is now a multimillionaire with a multi-million-dollar company. Selling it seems like
I have a feeling it's
just
probably
really like
my
you
guess
built
is
it
that,
out of nothing.
no, my guess is that he's moving. He's joining forces with the Daily Wire, and availing himself of their talent management. Because the fact of the matter is, Tim Pool is really good at doing what he does in terms of his podcast and his his segments and stuff like that. But managing people is not his strong suit. And the thing is, he surrounded himself with friends. Basically, he hired a bunch of people, brought them aboard that he trusted, and tertiarily or secondarily, they recommended people that they liked and that were their friends. And so he brought along a bunch of people who he just assumed they were decent, and I guess he got fucked over a couple times by them.
They
And he's
have
like,
tried to screw him, yeah.
yeah, and I think he's just sort of like, he's not, managing a company as big as the Timcast company, and all those people with all those separate talents and all the separate moving parts is just not his strong suit. So I have a feeling he's just saying, you know what, I'd rather do my show and let the professionals at the Daily Wire deal with all the hiring and all the other bullshit. So my guess is it might be like a mutually beneficial sort of coalescing of the
Yeah, but there's no such thing. Like,
no, didn't they just split up that Matt Christensen dude and the blonde chick because she won't back down about the JQ and Matt wanted Shapiro show? Goes, I don't know what you're talking about. Matt Christensen dude?
Blonde in the Belly of the Beast, is that her?
Blonde in the belly. She's like the really pale girl.
Well, she's just blonde, and she's worked with Matt Christensen. I know their names and faces for some reason, but I never actually watched their stuff.
Well, do they do the Pop Culture Crisis? Is that the two?
I can't remember. Again, I don't watch any of their stuff. I just remember thinking, "Oh, cute blonde," but I'm busy.
Yeah, okay. It's the girl from the Pop Culture Crisis. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. All I know is the Pop Culture Crisis is still going, as far as I know. Did she get like fired or something? Or Matt wanted the Shapiro shekels? Oh, maybe. If Pierre Poilievre becomes PM for Canada, will that actually change things for Canada, or will we be the same, as in still fucked by our prime minister? My opinion is Pierre Poilievre is part of the problem. He's part of the establishment, political class, political elite in Ottawa. He's a career politician. I believe he's a globalist. He may have good intentions with regards to what he wants to do for Canada, but the problem is he's doing it within the context of a broken system. He's doing it within the context of like a corrupt Ottawa.
I don't even give him that much credit.
No, eh?
No, I mean, look up Bill C6 and unanimous assent.
Oh, I know, that fucking drives me nuts.
I can't. Is it 308 or 318 section of the criminal code is what it affected, and you can read it now. How blatantly ridiculous it is. Yeah, and he voted for that. Apparently, that is actually the bill that was the last straw for Max Bernier, who then, after that, he was like, "No, I'm out. I'm not like everyone."
C6?
I think it was called C6 way back when, because it actually happened years and years ago.
An act to amend the criminal code, conversion therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When was this tabled in the House of Commons? In 2020? Yeah, but he left in 2018, I believe.
Was it 20? Okay.
Yeah, he formed the PPC 6 years ago. He just mentioned, was it 6 years ago? Yeah,
okay, so it wasn't this, but this received unanimous assent, right?
Yeah,
which means every conservative MP voted yes, like voted for this bill. And if you read the specifics, conversion therapy is only to heterosexual, to cis normative.
Yeah, that's right. It
Right.
says right here, Bill C6 would amend the criminal code to prohibit certain activities that relate to, quote, conversion therapy, which is defined as practices, treatment, or services designed to change the individual's sexual orientation to heterosexual or gender identity to cisgender, or to reduce non-heterosexual attraction or sexual behavior. Specifically, the bill would exact new offenses to prohibit, and then it lists them. Yeah, as though being transgender is the default.
No,
And
no,
you're
no,
converted.
no, no.
You're
What it
converted from
basically
trans into
says,
cis.
if
It's
you
ridiculous.
look at what it says, is grooming children into homosexual or trans identities and activities is legal.
Where does it say
Preventing that is not. It's very like when you think about what it's just done,
Yeah. Oh no.
it's
Yeah, I
totally
know.
fine to groom children towards homosexuality and transgenderism, but not to prevent it.
Yeah.
Right? If you go, whoa, 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 you can't do that to children. How dare you stop them from expressing their identity and sexuality? You've committed a crime by trying to stop a groomer. Yeah, like like when you think about, that's the legal implication now.
Yeah. It's messed up.
Yeah. So he's saying a lot of the right things now, but if you look at something like this, it's like, oh, you're just saying what you need to say to get elected. And he's going to get elected. And then everyone's going to see nothing will actually change.
It's true.
Right? Like, man puts on a turban and speaks in fucking Hindi, says, oh, we need direct flights from this particular place in India, and all the TFWs are cheering for him, right? It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No. It's and that's why Bernier received a lot of flack for posting a picture of himself with a bunch of Indian Canadians who were, they're of the same sort of mindset of, Canada first, but they're clearly of Indian descent, right? So people were like, here he is, he's just like Pierre, he's just like, Trudeau, he's grifting for, the Indian vote. I'm like, he's clearly, I'm in defense of Maxime Bernier because he's clearly talking about helping Canadian citizens, not delineating along racial lines, though many people now in Canada delineate along racial lines. It's not simply about deport. I think a lot of people who are calling about mass deportations in Canada, because you're seeing that a lot now, they're not just calling about mass deportations for, temporary foreign workers or student visas who are overstaying their visas, that kind of stuff. I think they want to get rid of all the Indians. I think they're hell bent on getting rid of all the Sikhs and all the Indians and all the people who are protesting synagogues. And
hold on, nobody wants to get rid of all the Indians. Nobody wants to get rid of all the Arabs. We want to get rid of all the India. We want to get rid of all the Arabia.
Oh, I see what you're saying. We want the culture out of our country.
Yeah. Because, like, okay, so you were talking about the European
No,
Union.
I do. Well,
you were talking about the European Union being 21 countries with different languages and different, like, drives and stuff. And that's not actually quite right. Okay. We're people of European descent. And when we think of culture, what do we think of? We think of architecture. We think of dress. We think of food.
right.
All right. Because every other thing that is culture is the same. We have family values, Christian morals. All of this is like assumed. So when we think culture, we think superficial. We think, oh, yeah, the Nords' homes were built around a stone hearth because it's cold 10 months of the year.
Right.
So the whole house has to be made of stone and thatch and burning in the center, and that's where we do the cooking. But the Mediterraneans right? It's warm all the time. So your house is wood and tile to keep it cool, and your kitchen is on the edge of the house where you cook. Maybe you have a separate cookhouse on your property, actually outside your home.
Yeah. You
But
cook
when-
a lamb on a spit above coals in the backyard.
But that's not what culture is,
No.
right? When you look at Arabia, the culture is like, you know, despotism, and
How you treat
know,
women.
yeah,
you know.
how you like how you think of women, right? Like, you're what's the joke that we don't protect women because we think they're weak. We protect them because they're retarded. No, because they're valuable, right?
Right.
Where in Arabia, the Arabian Muslim idea is that women are half of a man and kind of disposable. That's why we have so many wives in case I need to divorce one. Right? Like, because I just don't like her anymore. She's got uppity, so
Yeah.
get rid of her, right? And yeah, like
Well, the Arabian attitude, the Muslim attitude, is the male is the dominant one, right? He is the Primarch. He's the one that she needs to submit to him, right? And if she's not going to submit to him, then she's not worth it. So he'll take another wife who will submit to him. And the idea is that if he gets 6 wives, at least a few of them are going to submit to him.
Whoa!
And there might be nights where
he's only allowed 4.
Sorry, my mistake. The reason he has 4 is because they can't all be on the rag at the same time. And he wants to have sex with his wife, and he can't when she's unclean, so he has to go to another wife. In any event, it's also a matter of it's how they basically spread their ideology by having lots of kids born into that ideology, and
yeah, and then murder those who would change, right? Like that's Islam.
But is culture about war because we take
care? I think he means care. Because we take care of the weak.
We take care of the weak. No, I think here's the thing. Women have babies and proliferate society, but they're very vulnerable because 1, they're weaker than men, and 2, when they're pregnant, they're basically useless. We have to, they're very vulnerable. They're very prone to being damaged and hurt. So men are the disposable ones in our culture. We go to war, we jump to the defense of women because without them, our society just doesn't proliferate. The people in Islamic countries, Muslim countries, have taken a different tack. Just keep knocking them up, keep them pregnant, keep them subjugated, and the culture will perpetuate itself surely by mass, by numbers. I think that some cultures are superior to others, and that's not just me being
you're not wrong.
Cultural centric. I think there are satanic ideas, and I think there are Christian ideas. I think there are values that align with Christianity, and I think there's values that or value systems that clearly don't. And I think Islam's one of those systems.
You're like Gavin McInnes 2.0, a Western chauvinist. Like that was a great term.
I'm very much a Western chauvinist. Yes.
Great term, way ahead of its time, was not anywhere near acceptable, and the guy had to like disappear. Did he just like
he's still got his podcast?
Does he? I haven't seen it.
It's called the Get Off My Lawn podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like Gavin McInnes.
I think it might be behind a paywall, but he's not hurt.
Yeah, right. Because that's the thing is, as Western people of European descent, we've been doing this for like hundreds of years, And we don't realize that there are other cultures where the greatest thing that you can do is get one over on somebody else. Right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's that? You pulled a scam and got someone to pay more than they should have for a thing that you sell cheaper? Good for you. You're a man now. Well, welcome to the club, Rajesh. Right? Like that this like a series of abuses is just the way they exist.
Mhm.
Right? And we see that in our government in the littlest ways, and we're like, whoa, 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 you can't do that. That's not right. And there
It's just how it's done.
you see the prosecutor openly negotiating with the judge, who's openly negotiating with the defense attorney on what bribes everyone's going to receive to balance an outcome for this particular criminal case.
Yeah.
Right. And nobody stops them. Nobody cares. You know why? Because all the cops are paid off.
Yeah, it's a pretty awful system. I spent 2 hours today watching how World War II happened with Japan. I didn't realize how Japan hurt American so bad. LOL. Just always put WT with Germany. LOL. Yeah, no, Japan really fucked up the U.S. It was an attack on their psyche, and I think it shaped their attitude towards foreign nations for the next half century. The United States for a long time was very isolationist, and I think
Should've
while they
stayed
knew
that way.
eventually, I think they knew while eventually they would eventually get into the Second World War. It took the attack on Pearl Harbor to be a catalyst for them to actually, and the argument is that who was was it Truman? Yeah, Truman knew. Was it Truman? Knew about the attack, or was it
There is some speculation that
Roosevelt?
it's like a loose it has to be Roosevelt. A
Roosevelt.
loose false flag, right? That they allowed the attack to happen.
Yeah,
But it's
wasn't a false flag, but they knew it was coming, and they knew that Pearl Harbor was a potential target, and they could have taken steps to mitigate the attack.
LIHOP let
they
it
didn't.
happen on purpose
Yeah, LIHOP, let it happen
as
on
opposed to
purpose.
MIHOP. Yeah.
Yeah. And the idea is you let it happen, and it would be a catalyst to get America into the Second World War more quickly, I guess, or more thoroughly. And I think that attack kind of shaped the Americans' attitude towards foreign conflict and foreign diplomacy for the next half century, and it's why there were all these misadventures around the globe by this expanding military industrial complex. I mean, who was it that warned about it before he left office? Was it Roosevelt? Can't remember.
Which
About the expansion of the military industrial complex. He made like a big long speech about it.
I'm not sure.
Or was it Dwight D. Eisenhower? I can't remember. Anyway, one president prior to leaving office said we need to watch about the growth of the military industrial complex, and it's going to be a real threat to the future of the United States if we don't. Eisenhower. There we go. The attack at Midway was when Japan fell. Yeah. It was Dwight D. Eisenhower. But basically, yeah, he warned about the expansion of the military industrial complex. And basically, what happened was the military industrial complex determined foreign relations for the next half century or more. Can a world war happen now? Some argue that we're already in one. Some argue that we're already in one. When you consider that conflict in Israel, the conflict in Ukraine, and the other conflicts around the globe, they're all interconnected.
They're all proxy wars.
Yeah.
Right? Like Israel and Ukraine are America / European Union. The adversaries to that are Russia and China, and all of what do they call the global South? You know, so we're in the skirmishes in the beginning, right? Like these nations are so small involved in the fighting, and the larger nations are involved in such small fighting that it doesn't seem to be having monstrous global effect. But there could come a point, yeah, where America is at war with China and Russia, and then like lines will be drawn.
This is shared by Pox Toxic. I am going to grind your bones to dust and put it in my wife's grave. That's right. JD Vance is married to an Indian woman, isn't he?
Sure.
Yeah. Interesting. But is America really in it? I'd say no. Not officially, but they've got troops over there.
So here's what's really
they haven't
funny.
officially declared war.
America is in it. Canada is in it because guess what? Your tax dollars, Mr. Harnum, are going to it. You're paying for it. Of course you're involved. We're already involved.
This notion that troops on the ground is where it, becomes official. No, like we're paying for, we're funding the damn thing.
That's not when it becomes official. That's just when people die. Like this conflict going on in Ukraine has been hollowing out my ancestors' homeland, and they keep spending money to send my people to their deaths, and I'm supposed to be like, yeah, keep fighting, Ukraine. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
right.
There
was never an option for them to win. They're outnumbered. They're outgunned. They are now recruiting the elderly, the underage, and the Down syndrome, and sending them to the front line.
Recruiting.
Yeah.
No, they're
conscripting.
They're literally picking them up off the street, throwing them in vans, and driving to the front lines, giving them a rucksack and saying, "Go fight." No, the whole thing with Ukraine and Russia right now. You're right. Ukraine should have, surrendered, months and months and months ago, probably a year ago at this point. But they were promised. Zelensky was promised all the cocaine he could eat and as much money as could be laundered by Boris Johnson and everybody else who realized this is a great fucking graft, I should say. We'll keep pouring money to you, and you just trickle back a little bit to me and to my brother, because it can't come directly to me. Give it to my brother and he'll give it to me. That's what's been going on. The entire thing has been a money laundering operation that Canada's been involved in, Europe's been involved in, United States has been involved in, and anybody who sent money, they've been laundering it back to them. That's all it is. Actually, Ukraine is winning. They are not winning. They are not winning. I have friends in Ukraine. They're not winning. Your friends from Ukraine might wish they were winning. They're not winning.
Man, yeah. I'm sorry. My ancestral homeland has been gutted.
Yeah, your family's from Ukraine, right, twin?
Yeah. Like for me, over 100 years ago now on one side, 70 years ago on the other. But I mean, there are family names. Ukraine's a terrible place. Like it's always been a terrible place.
It's full of Nazis.
It's one of those weird places in the middle that always gets steamrolled like Poland, right? Like, oh, we want to go to war with someone, or we want resources there. I guess these people in the middle have to all die, and it happens over and over again. And yeah, there's families, there's clans in Canada, large Ukrainian population in Canada, Ukrainian descent. There's clans in Manitoba, in Saskatchewan, even in Ontario. Don't exist in Ukraine. They're gone, right? The few that managed to escape live here now. And they've been extinct in their homeland since the Bolsheviks. Right? So, and it's happening again, that those who manage to escape are going to be a diaspora, and there will be none of them in their own homeland.
I'm curious what's going to happen when Trump gets in. My guess is he's going to try and negotiate something with Zelensky and Putin. Like I said, this war should have ended. It should have ended a year ago. Zelensky should have simply surrendered, and instead he's been holding out long enough to get as much money and cocaine as he could, and he doesn't care how many of his countrymen die.
Well, it was never up to him, right? And
no, it wasn't.
What does that mean?
Countrymen,
I'm
people,
sorry,
people from Ukraine, people in Ukraine.
Zelensky's countrymen? Ukrainians aren't Zelensky's countrymen.
Israel's his countryman. Isn't he Jewish?
He is.
Yeah. But wait, no, he's born in Ukraine though, wasn't he? From Ukraine?
Does that matter?
Well, he's Ukrainian in that he is from Ukraine, the same way that I'm Canadian in that I'm from Canada. I was born in Canada. I don't think he's a patriot. This is the thing. I don't believe he's a patriot. I believe he's a self-interested politician. And he's not even a politician. He's actually a proxy. He was installed there.
Yes.
By the CIA.
That's the worst part. This is a war that never needed to happen. None of this ever had to come this way, except that some corrupt Americans, some corrupt Israelis, and Zelensky, who is their patsy, basically, went ahead and made it happen. Right? If they had just kept their noses out of it, none of this would have happened.
Well, there's an argument to be made that Zelensky had an obligation to say Russia's trying to take over this region of Ukraine. They're taking a military action in Ukraine. We have to do something. We have to respond. And that response has to be military in nature.
Okay. So that's starting at step 2 or 4, right? And saying, oh, we have to do this. There were things they did that made that happen. Like, people don't understand what happened.
Yeah, the expansion
there was a legitimately elected government in Ukraine that said, you know what? The EU keeps leading us on. They keep hanging the carrot out there and saying, yeah, be our friend. Fuck them. We're not getting anything out of this. We're going to be allies and trading partners with our oldest neighbors, our most closely related genetic relatives. We're going to be friends with Russia. And the CIA and George Soros funded a revolution to oust a legitimately elected leader. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they installed Zelensky, they went into the east of Ukraine, where there are many ethnic Russians, Russian speakers, started enforcing laws about Ukrainian language only, and then kicking down doors of ethnic Russians and Russian speakers for being collaborators with Russia because they voted for the guy who decided they were going to be friends with Russia. Now, they're not the only people in Ukraine, obviously, that did this, but they started abusing. All right. What's the word? Terrorizing, investigating and interrogating, and in some cases, murdering ethnic Russians who lived in Ukraine, in Donbass, Donetsk, Luhansk.
I have a question for Sean here. Russia being a superpower taking Ukraine is wrong. What does it have to do with them being a superpower taking Ukraine? Why is it wrong because they're a superpower, or is it wrong because they're bigger and stronger? Is that so that therefore it's wrong? It's wrong for a larger body to aggress against another body. Now, what Twin's saying here is all of that's correct. Just go watch Ukraine on Fire. It's an Oliver Stone documentary.
They literally admit it. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, no, all of this happened. Zelensky is not a politician. He was installed by the CIA and like you said, George Soros, right? It was all horseshit. And it is ethnic Russians in the Donbass region that the military action took place in initially. Ukraine has been bombing that place since 2014, has been launching rockets into these areas for ages. And Russia finally says, okay, we've had enough. First off, Ukraine's lousy with Nazis. The place is filled with them. Not just the what is that one detachment in the army?
Stop selling it.
They're lousy with Nazis, and his whole thing was the denazification of the region. Okay, whether you believe it or not, I don't care. Now, here's the thing: Vladimir Putin might be an evil guy. He might be a bad guy, but he's a patriot. He loves his country. Zelensky couldn't give two shits about his country. Zelensky wants cocaine and money. That's all he wants. Your friends from Ukraine doesn't change the fact that the Ukrainian government, Zelensky, and NATO conspired to circumvent or outright break old treaties about NATO's proximity to Russian borders. That's true.
That too.
The Minsk Accords.
Like the provocations have been there.
They were justified in the use of force to enforce already existing treaties. I got to do more research, says Sharon Harnham. Hey, man, don't take my word for it. But if you get a chance, watch Oliver Stone's documentary, Ukraine on Fire. I think there's two. I think there's a Ukraine on Fire part 2 as well.
And I hope our new friend here understands. I'm not. I know I might be coming off a bit passionate, harsh here.
It's because he's drunk.
It's not because I'm drunk. It's not about Mr. Harnham. It's about my people and how this was all avoidable.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all done by what Donald Trump has called the deep state. Alex Jones has called the deep state. None of this had to happen, right? This didn't have to happen to my people. Actually, my people were about to make peace with my other people.
Is Russia not doing what Nazi Germany did, killing innocent people? Well, innocent people die in war.
But this is what people don't understand, right?
And Nazi Germany, and what Nazi Germany did that was so horrible was, the attempted, what do you call it? Extermination of an entire race.
Allegedly.
Right? Russia's not looking to exterminate Ukrainians. Russia wants to. Here's what Russia really wants. Here's what Putin really wants. They want a land bridge. They want a land bridge to the Black Sea. That's what they want.
No,
they want Donbass, and they want Crimea, and they want it to be.
Why would Russia want to suddenly genocide a people of a nation where they just made an economic alliance?
Yeah,
we're gonna do good trade here, and this is again your oldest neighbor, your oldest genetic relatives. You're basically the same people who speak a different language, right?
You know what though? I think they've had a problem with one another since World War II.
They've had
because Ukraine.
Whoa!
Ukraine joined the Nazis.
Don't make me pull a Putin Tucker on you. They've had their issues for 1,000 years. Okay, that's how old the language difference is. That's how old the culture difference is, right? You're looking at 1,000 years, 1,300 years of differences and different growths. All right, and one is enormous and vast, and the other is small and tight, and they had come to a modern version of proper peace, and hey, you know what? Fuck these other guys that have been excluding us. All right, we don't need that. We're going to be friends again. And somebody just fucked that up.
Or the fact they're conscripting, forcing people with Down syndrome to fight. Hey, you know what? That's just like a discount super soldiers, right? Because they got that retard strength. Think about it.
Literally zero Ukrainians needed to die here. And the CIA and George Soros made all of this happen. Right. There is no reason for this conflict to exist except for the CIA and George Soros. This should have been a non-thing. This should have been, hey, Ukraine is still going to sell grain to the West, and Russia's going to pump oil through Syria into Europe, and nothing bad is going to happen here. But they wanted war. They wanted war so they could continue to funnel money, but now do it out in the open and in vast quantities. Right? Like, what do you think happens when Canada sends $6 billion to Ukraine? They buy weapons from American weapons manufacturers. And who owns those weapons manufacturers? American elites. Right? They've been using Ukraine like a dirty, filthy piggy bank for decades. And then that was threatened because we don't need to be under your thumb anymore. We can be friends with these people. So maybe you'll have to back off. But no, they wouldn't have it. And instead, hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions at this point, of Ukrainians have died. For money.
But that retard strength, man. It's like they're like discount super soldiers. Because Captain America, you know Captain America, right? Captain America's got retard strength. People think he's always super strong. No, he can push his muscles beyond what people normally could because the pain doesn't affect him, and that's how it is with retards. The reason a retard can just one person like knock over a fucking Coke machine is because the muscle pain that would tell you to stop pushing on that heavy object doesn't tell them to stop pushing on that heavy object.
The super serum is just injecting an extra chromosome.
He's not wrong, LOL. Fuck. Anyway, good to have you on board, Sean Harmon. Sean Harnum. Are you in Canada or the US?
He's in Canada.
He's in Canada? Yeah.
He opened with, what do you think about Pierre Poilievre? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's probably Canadian. He could be, you know, when I was in Virginia a couple of weeks back, people were asking me all about Canadian politics. It's like, so what do you think is going to happen? Is there going to be an election? I know him. I would fuck with him. LMAO. I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Captain America?
Oh, Captain America. Oh. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, we're not a big player, and we've been made a joke by this current administration.
Oh my God. It's sad.
But they still like us. They still like they've always got a soft spot for us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They might have a little bit of animosity towards Britain, but they think of them as like the estranged brother. But with Canada, it's like, whoa, our little brother is really going through that turmoil. Like, oh man, are you okay? Do you need some help? We can help you, you know? Like that's how Americans think of us, especially now.
They call us America's hat.
Yeah.
No, it's true. And I mean, they saw what happened during the Freedom Convoy, right? And they saw, that basically Trudeau acted like Fidel Castro, froze people's bank accounts, fucking arrested them, trampled them in the street for protesting.
And
for protesting about what? Freedom.
and people
They weren't
forget
setting synagogues on fire. They weren't fucking blocking traffic by praying in the middle of the street saying, haha, we're Muslim and we're taking over your country. They went down to the nation's capital and said, we want our freedom back. We don't want these mandates.
and people forget this part too, because it didn't get portrayed on Canadian media anywhere, especially the national level. The Canadian Freedom Convoy sparked a global movement.
That's right.
All right. Nations in Europe, South America, all over just started following suit, driving trucks down to their center of government and saying, fuck off.
Yeah.
Right? We actually did something. Not our government, not our military. Our people did something. And it inspired others to do the same. And it worked. Right? Like people are saying, oh, the masks and the mandates, it was because COVID was over. No, COVID was over because we said it was over. Right? My greatest regret in all of my life.
Big Brother would. I know how to ride a bike.
My greatest regret in all of my life is I didn't go down to fucking Ottawa down there.
You know what? And every once in a while I see on X people saying, hey, should we have another freedom convoy go to Ottawa? Should there be another mass protest happening in Ottawa? I think if Trudeau prorogues the government, which apparently he's going to do, I think if he prorogues the government to avoid a non-confidence vote, I think that's worth protesting. I think that's worth going up there and saying, shut her down. Election now. Imagine if you got the numbers that were at the Freedom Convoy, or more, let's say, of people occupying Ottawa with signs that said election now. What do you think that would do?
I think it would get a whole bunch of people's accounts frozen because that emergency power is still in effect. And you know what? I'd do it anyway.
You mean he still has access to do it?
Yep. Oh
yeah, but the thing is, you'd have to manufacture some sort of event, like a plot to kill police officers at Coots border or whatever like that. You'd have to manufacture some sort of event in order to enact an emergency.
No, so they undid the Emergencies Act, but somehow managed to keep that part in effect. That at any time, they can just call your bank and say, shut them down.
You know what? Maybe it's time to start banking.
Boy, they shut it down.
All right, here's the plan, folks. If what's his name? Justin Trudeau prorogues the government to avoid a non-confidence vote, which he knows he'll lose because Jagmeet Singh says he'll actually back this time. He'll fucking float it this time.
Lies.
Well, you know what I don't understand is why didn't they just cut a deal with Jagmeet Singh? Why didn't they just say, look, join us on the vote and we'll make sure you get your pension?
Because they can't.
Sure they could.
No. If the election is before he gets his pension, he'll lose his seat.
Yeah.
And he won't get his pension. They can't guarantee that to him.
No. What they'll do is they'll launder money like government always does. They'll launder money into like an offshore account that would be equivalent of Jagmeet's pension, and they'll just make sure they lose whatever his pension would be, $250,000 a year every year for the rest of his life. They'll just make sure they lose $250,000 a year in the bank, in the books. That's all I have to do.
It's tricky, sticky. You know,
Hey,
one of the
look,
hallmarks, one of the hallmarks of Canadian government is we're protected from its corruption
are we now?
by its ineptitude.
I don't
It's
know.
bad at all of this. They
divided
can't
by
do
corruption
that
quite a bit.
clean.
How
They
much?
can't launder that money into his fucking personal account
Hey,
cleanly.
look, they don't care about doing it cleanly. Justin Trudeau laundered tons of money dirty and in open in front of everybody, and nothing's fucking happened to him. So they can make it as dirty as they want, just like in India. They can say, "Yeah, fuck, you know what? We made a deal with Jagmeet Singh. If he votes for us with us on the no confidence vote, we're going to pay him off." They agreed to it.
You know what? I think actually most Canadians, if
We go, you know what?
locally,
That's
we'd
a
be
small
like,
price
yeah,
to pay.
good.
That's a
Just
small price
get
to
rid
pay.
of both
Or
of
how
them.
about this? Make him a senator. It's a lifetime appointment. Promise him a Senate.
Yep.
Promise
Yeah,
him the Senate. And say, you know what? You don't even have to show up. You'll get your Senate because they don't. You'll get your pay, and yeah, you're going to get voted out, but we're going to make you a senator, and it's a lifetime appointment.
suddenly, I'm starting to think that the Empire in Star Wars was the good guys.
I can make they had the better uniforms. I can imagine Canada Man making a speech in front of people in Ottawa. That's the plan. If there's another mass protest in Ottawa, Canada Man will be there, and he'll be there for the duration.
Senate and taking control of the Empire.
We talk about good Canadian fathers getting fucked.
We do have trouble with that still in Canada.
Yeah. It's true. I think he was about to say something else, but it got cut off. You ever watch what's her name? Fuck, I can't remember what her name is. Is it? She does the Honey Badger. She does the Honey Badger podcast.
Oh yeah, I followed the
men's
Honey Badgers a long time ago, so I know all of them somewhat.
The chick with the short hair. She smokes a lot.
Oh, I love her. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
I mean, she's like, it's the strangest thing. I don't find her very attractive objectively, but I want her so badly. Oh, she's so like,
she says the right shit, right?
Everything you're saying is like you're licking the inside of my brain in a way that no one could ever lick my genitals.
Shit. Yeah. No, I hear you, man. Both of you being speechless says a lot of us being fucked. LOL. Oh. Who's speechless? I'm not speechless. I can't stop talking.
Know about Canadian fathers, maybe, that we just sort of stopped and didn't.
Well, I'm not a father, personally. I'm married. Twin, you're not a father, but you're not married, right?
Not that I'm aware, but yeah.
Not that you're aware that you're a father, yeah.
Yeah.
There might be a little twin running around out
God,
there.
I hope not.
So what do y'all feel about scented candles that smell like lawn clippings? No, I want my lawn to smell like lawn clippings. My scented candles should smell like fruit. I like fruity smelling scented candles.
No, I actually
vanilla.
got this thing now
I like
for
that smells like baked goods. I want it smelling like fruit.
No, I've got this one marshmallow lawn clippings.
Ew.
No, marshmallow bonfire. He tainted me with his lawn clippings.
No,
marshmallow bonfire.
So
yeah, it's actually quite pleasant.
Maybe, but I don't want dessert smells in my house like that unless I've made desserts. I want like a citrus smell or a fucking pomegranate grape smell.
Vanilla bean. That's actually one of my favorites.
Now, is it vanilla bean or is it beaver ass gland?
It's probably beaver ass gland, but
yeah,
it smells like vanilla once it's on fire, so I don't care.
For those of you who don't know, artificial vanilla is made from beaver ass glands. So
Canada, fuck yeah.
that's right. Beaver is our national animal. I've been thinking about the next Rev because Canada Man's going back. Remember, I was saying I don't think I'm going to go back. I think this is the last year for Rev. I had so much fun at Rev. I'm going to go back.
Yeah.
So, so I've been thinking about what I want to do for Rev with Canada Man, and I was thinking of seeing if I can get a whole bunch of Molson Canadian bottle caps because in Rev they use bottle caps as the currency.
Right, right.
And have a parallel currency going on in the Canadian conclave that are fucking bottle caps with maple leafs on them, and they're only those are the only ones that are accepted there. And I was gonna invite people to become honorary members of the Canadian conclave by doing little quests and shit.
Hold on, keep talking.
Yeah. So what does it say? I'm so in trouble, LOL, but fuck it. I love the stream. Thanks, man. Why are you in trouble? What's the matter? What gets you in trouble?
He's up late, and my sister is going to be mad at him.
Oh, you know Sean Harlan. Oh, okay. So this is your brother-in-law or future brother-in-law?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Sean Harnham. Is that his name, Sean? Or is he using a fake name?
I don't know why you idiots use your fucking real names on the internet. What the hell is wrong with you?
What's wrong with using your real name? I have a great first and last name. They almost rhyme. It's a perfect name for the internet. The wife.
So we were talking about my alter ego.
Yeah, the Ontarian.
The Ontarian, yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of like a ripoff of the comedian.
Right.
From
Watchmen.
Yeah. Check this out.
What is that?
Yeah.
Is that the Ontarian's mask?
So this is actually protective foam from a sex doll. Now, just so everyone knows, I have bleached the shit out of this thing.
I hope so.
And yeah, I'm gonna be able to.
So that
cut
goes
out
on
the
that
eyes.
goes on the face of a sex doll. Is that the idea?
Yeah, that
the
is
nose
like
from getting
the
squished
head,
down.
right? So it fits over the face, thusly. But I'm now going to be able to cut out the eyes.
Yep.
Right. Do some paint magic, dye magic, and make a proper domino.
Nice.
Out of this, right? Rather than have to fucking fabricate one from nothing. This is like perfect.
I gotta show you something. One sec. I'll be right back.
And I'm do I go red? Do I go black? I don't know. I don't have a proper design for the Ontarian, the way Canada Man has properly been fleshed out. But I think there's a lot of potential here. And before I start cutting into it, I think you and I need to get together, have a sit down, do some doodles.
Sounds good. Black people. Black people.
Yay or nay?
Somebody gave this to me at Rev.
Damn.
It's the Canada. Wow. It lists all the province coat of arms. And he said you could use that as a shield. So I actually had it gorilla taped to my arm for part of the day, and then it kind of got in the way, so I took it off. But I'm like,
well, hold it up again though. Look at how many of them actually have crosses.
Yeah.
And how many of them have Anglican crosses?
I know.
Yeah.
None of them have the Khanda or the chakra. There's a Scottish cross right there.
No star, no moon.
No stars. No crescent moons. fleur-de-lis, maple leaves, and crosses. Yeah. One's got the Union Jack. British Columbia makes sense.
That's many crosses together.
Oh, one's got the Welsh dragon. That's Wales's symbol, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think.
as far as I know. Yeah.
Northwest, the Northern Territories, they call it, not the Northwest, but the Northern Territories.
You should preserve that. I bet that's one of those things that you'll take to Antique Roadshow, and they'll be like, actually, you could probably get about even in this condition, $1,500.
Maybe, except that it says somewhere on it, made in Hong Kong. Yeah, it says made in Hong Kong on it, so I don't know.
Never mind.
You never know. I should clean it up though. Like I don't want to strip it or anything. But see, part of me was thinking of like, see how it's like a plate.
Is there Newfoundland? Asked Ben Felson.
What's that?
Is there Newfoundland?
Yep, Newfoundland is here because it was. Where is it? Newfoundland.
Wow.
It's got the English unicorn and lions. And which cross is that? Red field with white cross. That's not Wales. That's not Wales. Is that Wales? That's Scotland. Nova Scotia is Scotland.
Yeah. Scotia literally means Scotland in Latin.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, what the Swiss use white cross on a red field, right?
Let me see here. Newfoundland coat of arms.
Norway too.
All right. Coat of arms of Newfoundland and Labrador.
It's creepy, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what the white cross on red field. Look that up.
Yeah, immediately I think Switzerland. Norway, I think, is the red background with white and blue and maybe black.
Yeah, it is Switzerland. You're right. But there's got to be other countries that use it.
Norway.
Yeah,
I mean,
Norway.
it's cornered, but like off center, but same idea. Oh yeah, because the Vikings were the first to find Newfoundland, to find the rock.
That makes perfect sense. You're
Yeah.
right. That makes perfect sense. Good thinking. Yeah, so someone gave that to me. They actually called me up on the. They have this thing called Wasteland Radio.
Nice.
So they in town. They had these speakers going, and the speakers are playing like Fallout music. So it's all like 1940s, big band jazz kind of stuff. And Media Mike, who's one of the guys who works at the field there, he gets on the microphone and says, "Canada man, please come to the radio station. Canada man, please come to the radio station." And I start just as I'm heading into town. Someone says, "Hey, they're calling you to go up to the radio station." So they go up there and say, "Hey, we found this in one of the vaults." Fallout reference. Figured you could use it as a shield. I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool!" So I grabbed it. I went back to my car the next day. I got some Gorilla Tape and put it on my arm. Anyway, yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I'm kind of a celebrity there. They keep like everybody.
Yeah.
People see me go, "Hey, Canada man, yeah, Canada." And people call me Canadian man and Captain Canada and all sorts of stuff.
And now you're putting together a team,
That's
and
right.
I'll get
Yeah.
my ass down there.
You want to
We'll
come
get-
down next year?
As soon as I can, as soon as we have a costume for the Ontarian. Just
Sounds
hear
good.
me for a minute. I'll be right back.
All right, sounds good. This comment just made me fucking howl. Black people, no reason, just cause. Oh, fucking hell. Ben Felsen, are you in Newfoundland? Now what? Where'd you go? Twin, help me tomorrow. LOL. Well, he's going to take shit from your sister? How do you guys feel about Winnipeg Jets being number one in the West right now? Sure, that's great. I don't follow hockey.
I feel pretty good about it.
Is that hockey or football?
It's hockey.
Okay, I don't follow hockey.
Neither do I, but I feel pretty good about it. You know why? Especially after this whole debacle talking about the gutting of my ancestral homeland. And now apparently Manitoba is what remains of my ancestors and my ancestral homeland. And yeah, if they're doing well, good for them. Good for us.
Good on Winterpeg. Didn't you say you lived in Manitoba at one point?
Yes. Yeah.
When
Have family
you're a
out
little
there.
kid. When you're a little kid, yeah?
Yeah. And like that's what I mean is my clans don't exist in Ukraine. They exist here. We're part of the diaspora that's extinct in Ukraine, and now more Ukrainians are extinct. And if we're very lucky, some of them have managed to get here.
I was last week down there. I think he means Newfoundland. Is that where you were last week?
But I think he said North York, not Newfoundland.
Your ancestors? I don't know. Your ancestors, maybe? That's cool. I've never been to Newfoundland. My father's from Newfoundland. I should go back. Bragg is quite a common name in Newfoundland, apparently.
And nowhere else.
Yeah.
You too are part of a diaspora, apparently.
Probably. Yeah, probably. Fucking Newfies. How do you sink a Newfie submarine?
How?
Knock on the door.
So there's this other one. How does the Newfie count fish?
I don't know how.
1 fish, 2 fish, and another fish, and another fish.
Fucking Newfies. The Newfie jokes are hilarious, man.
Actually, and it's my Newfie family that loves them more than anybody else. So, where are we? Are we
Where are we?
Hitting that last minute?
Yeah, I think so. We're over 2 hours now. Hold on a second. I gotta add it back on.
Oh, because I actually sort of have one. It's not even mine.
That's fine.
It's just something I was reminded of. And do you have a joke?
I do. You want to tell yours first?
Sure, if you like.
Go ahead.
It's not even my joke. It's not a joke per se, but
Hey, I'm a Newfie. LOL.
I was reminded of a well-played joke
Okay.
that, the Beatles, during the height of their Beatles craze, their popularity, were being interviewed. And the interviewer, I imagine, in his 1930s and 40s reporter voice, says, Paul McCartney, is Ringo Starr the best drummer in the world? And without missing a beat, Paul McCartney goes, Ringo's not even the best drummer in the Beatles.
I heard that one. I heard that one. A newfie is walking home kicking old bottles when a genie pops out of one. I can grant you 3 wishes, says the genie, so choose wisely. The newfie says, give me a beer that'll never run out. A bottle appears in the newfie's hand and he downs it, but when he pulls it away from his mouth, it's still full. The happy newfie continues walking home. The genie says, hey, you still have 2 wishes left. Oh, says the newfie, give me 2 more of these then. All right, I have another newfie joke. All right, an Ontarian, an Albertan, and a newfie are running from the cops. They run into an alley and see a pile of sacks, which they decide to hide in. The cops follow them into the alley and kick the bag with the Ontarian in it. The Ontarian goes, meow. And the cops go, it's just a bag full of cats. They kick the bag with the Albertan in it, and he goes, woof. And they're like, okay, dog in a bag, whatever. Then they kick the bag with the newfie in it, and he goes, potato. Newfies are like the Florida man of Canada. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Newfies are just, you know what? Here's the thing. Newfies are the most kind-hearted and friendly people you'll ever meet.
But
someone
also
will tell-
meth addicted and uneducated.
I don't think they're uneducated. I think they just have put a different emphasis on things. Education is not their greatest emphasis.
Sure.
Music is very strong with the Newfie people. They love their music. They love fish. They love drinking. And someone was telling me how they were going on a trip to Newfoundland, and one of their coworkers they'd never met. They've only talked to them online, like chatting, saying, "Yeah, I'll be in Newfoundland on such and such a date." Well, I live in Newfoundland, but I'm not going to be there when you're there. But I have a key under the mat. Go in. You can stay in my house. It's like, no, we're going to get a hotel. No. I wouldn't think of it. I'm not using the house. You stay in my house while you're there. And they're like they'd never met this person. They'd only known them through work and then only through chat. They never even actually physically met this person. But this newfie was like, yeah, go take my house. While you're there, you may take my house.
This phenomenon, they actually made into a play.
Oh, Come From Away.
Come From Away. Was it Reykjavik? Eyjafjallajökull went off surprisingly and downed all these planes.
No, it was 9/11.
Was it 9/11?
A lot of planes that were bound for the United States were rerouted to Newfoundland because they couldn't.
Oh, okay. I thought it was even more recent. I thought it was when Eyjafjallajökull in Iceland went off.
No, it was 9/11.
The plane had to force land in Newfoundland.
No, 9/11 had like dozens of planes come in, and like, yeah.
And what happened was
super hospitable the whole time.
Yeah, poor bastards are coming out of some dirt airport, like walking off a plane, and there's lines of cars and Newfie families just like, can you fit in our car?
Then we got a room for you.
And they just brought them into their homes and let them like sleep there and fed them and like, all these come from aways. Like, Right, and there was a joke made about how if that had happened in Ontario, the play would be called "Go to Away."
Go to away. It's true. It's true. Well, folks, I think we're going to call it there. It's been a good live stream. Thanks for all the interactions. Now I want to hear audiobooks of Irving speaking Icelandic. You got a good Icelandic
I
accent.
pronounced it right. That's why he liked it. Eyjafjallajökull. Cool.
That's the name of the volcano.
Eyjafjallajökull. Yeah.
Now, say the longest name of that town in Wales.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's the longest town name or street name or whatever in the entire world.
Oh no, I don't know that one, but I can say English words like anti-disestablishmentarianism and floxenausenahilipilification.
Is that the longest word?
It's one of them. Yeah,
One of
it's
the
up
longest
there.
words. There's a word that scores you like thousands of points in Scrabble if you put it in right. And it like takes up an entire row on the board kind of thing. But anyway, folks, we're going to call it there. I had a great stream with you tonight, Mr. Twin. I appreciate you
Fantastic.
coming out, being my co-host. Had a good time.
Of course, every time.
Folks, thanks for all the engagement. I'm getting a little bit of heartburn. Don't know why, but I'm going to... LOL. Boobs. And we'll see you next week, I believe, on Irving Twins channel for the Casual AF live stream. Thanks very much, folks. Stick around for the outro. There's a little outro video I like to put up when we close the stream out. Spent lots of money on it, so please don't skip it. Stick around and watch it. Take care.
Happy New Year. Hail Sigmar.
And a happy New Year to you all. Yes.